This is a HeadGum podcast.
Folks, it's time to get Quip. Me and Joe do it. It makes toothbrushing easy. Brushing your teeth, just like making love. The kind of thing you don't really know if you're doing it right till you start doing it right. And folks, Quip is brushing done right. It's the new electric toothbrush that packs just the right amount of vibrations into a slimmer design at a fraction of the cost of bulkier traditional electric brushes. It has guiding pulses that alert you when to switch sides, making brushing just the right amount of effortless. It's true, you really don't have to think about it. It lets you know when to move on to another quadrant of your mouth. Quip also comes with a mount that suctions right to your mirror and unsticks to use as a cover for hygienic travel anywhere, whether it's going in your gym bag or your carry-on. And because the thing that cleans your mouth should also be clean, Quip's subscription plan, or subquiption plan, surprised they didn't think of that, I'll have to let them know, refreshes your brush on a dentist-recommended schedule. They deliver new brush heads every 3 months for just $5, including free shipping worldwide. Quip's backed by a network of over 10,000 dental professionals, including dentists, hygienists, and dental students. Most toothbrushes don't get named one of Time Magazine's best inventions of the year, but Quip did. It's time to find out for yourself why. Quip starts at just $25, and if you go to getquip.com/CU right now, you'll get your first refill pack free with a Quip electric toothbrush. That's your first refill pack free at getquip.com/CU. GETQUIP.com/CU. Folks, it's going to be love at first brush. Hello, everybody, and welcome to We'll See You in Hell. We said we'd be back. We back. And now, without further ado, on with the Joe.
That was an odd one tonight.
I didn't even do it on with the show. I mean, that's how tired I am. I couldn't even do my whole catchphrase.
I'm exhausted. It's currently 11:20 p.m. our time. We're doing this very late tonight because we just saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We were like, let's go right in and record the podcast, but I think we're both quite tired.
Yeah.
Pat, I know you've been reading scripts all day.
Reading the scripts, and I meet with a different writer every 45 minutes, which is fun, and yet it's like being on 21st dates in one day.
And this is, for those of you that don't know, Pat secured himself a nice pilot there at CBS, and they asked him to start talking to writers. Not a bad sign.
Not a bad sign. I'm just keeping you right here in my nervous brain. Maybe you don't want to be there. But that's true. Still don't know.
Well,
but meeting with writers seems like a good sign, and it's been fun. You read a shitload of scripts. You say, oh, I like this one, I like that one. Bring this person in. You see if you can deal with them. You try to put your staff together. It's fun. It's fun.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I like it. But then
Good.
Just like a first date, you get in the room and somebody starts talking and you're like, oh no, you're there for another hour.
Why an hour do you have to? I
do a long meeting. I like to get to know somebody.
I think you're talking too out of your microphone.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But an hour is, God bless you. You're a man that commits. I don't get it. I'd have him come in. I'd say, spin it around. Let me see what the back looks like.
Make it clap for daddy.
Yeah, 10
there
minutes in and out.
Tie your shoes. There it is.
I have no excuse to be.
Bounce it.
I have no excuse to be tired. I didn't really do much today. I started swimming for exercise, so I did that for a good 20 minutes today. In the pool in the complex.
Oh, right. I forgot.
That you walk by every time.
Right.
So I've been doing that in the mornings.
It's hard to judge a man when you're wearing MC Hammer's garage sale trousers.
I'm wearing my DC Comics pants to commemorate the occasion.
Okay. In protest?
No, not in protest, just as part of the occasion.
All right.
As we stroll down Marvel Lane this evening. And then I had to get a new iron today.
Okay.
That was a big thing. I've had the same iron since I was in college.
Okay.
So today I got a new one because it wasn't working anymore.
I don't iron. Don't do it.
How do your shirts become
dry clean when it hits a point?
You'll take it all. You take everything to dry cleaner.
If it hits that point.
This is a man that does. I mean, why don't you just piss on the money?
I mean, you bring 10 shirts down, it costs like $25, and you got a beautiful, nicely pressed shirt. Look like a damn
what about your T-shirts?
GQ model.
Don't your T-shirts ever get wrinkled and you got to iron them? Or your pants?
No, I don't really wear T-shirts, pants. I don't care. I'm a casual man.
God bless you. You know what you want, and you know what you like.
It's true.
And you'll indulge in both. And I don't have a problem with that. Pat, Pat, let's go down. Let's go down. What do you say we take a stroll down to Pat's movie corner?
Oh, all right.
Have you seen anything?
Again, I haven't really so much as turned on my television. I'm behind on my stories about nothing. But just like last week, I told you I wanted to turn off my brain and watch a movie from my youth, Problem Child 1 and 2. I did it again, this time with a film called Kindergarten Cop.
All right.
And I got to tell you, I understood completely why I loved it when I was a kid. But that's a bad movie.
Yeah, I've never recalled thinking it was a good movie.
No, I mean, it almost seems like a made-for-NBC movie. It's lit in that way.
Yeah.
It's acted in that way. Arnold with the kids is funny, but they do it like 4 times. So the entire movie you're watching like a Z-grade Arnold action movie.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't make it too intense because the movie's for fucking children. Then anytime you start getting too bored with that, then Arnie teaches the kids for like 3 minutes. It's hilarious. And then they move back to this boring, like, jewel heist plot.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid.
Every fucking 80s and early 90s movie, jewel heist. 3 Men and a Baby has a fucking jewel heist.
It does?
Yeah. Isn't that? Well, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think so. 80s movies, well, 90s, that's early 90s, I guess, right? But those movies had unnecessary crime devices planted into all of them. I don't know why
I don't either.
that had to be a part of anything.
It would always be like you're watching like 40 minutes of Baby Boom, and then all of a sudden they're like walking on the outside of a building with a gun in their mouth or something.
Yeah.
Pick a lane.
Yeah, I agree.
Trying to watch Baby Boom.
I thought all the crime elements ruined Roadhouse. I just wanted to see a fun romp of Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott beating people up. Jesus Christ, Sam Elliott gets murdered halfway through the movie. It's like, what the fuck is going on right now?
He does. I had a Sam Elliott sighting up at WB because he works on the ranch, the multicam.
Yes.
Which I've not seen. But
it's not great.
I mean, he was walking across the lot as if every bone in his body was shattered. Like he looked like he had been like run over by a tractor very recently. Legs were all like akimbo, and I hope he's doing all right. Maybe it's from riding horses or something.
Where do you think he was headed on that lot? What do you think he was going to do?
Shitter, I would imagine.
Shitter?
As he calls it, I'm sure.
Why don't you get me to the shitter?
Through a damp mustache. Oh, yeah, we used to do Sam Elliott on this show.
I forgot. Yeah, Sam Elliott ordering food.
Ordering food, yeah.
Let's do one of those right now. Give me a restaurant.
I noticed the establishment's called Shake Shack. Am I to assume the best dish on the menu then would be the shake?
Now let me tell you this there, partner. I don't see a damn shake or a shack in this place. Just give me a cheeseburger and one of those sausage patties.
What's the 411 on those cheesy tots? they a popular item. They a popular item.
I suppose you think a fellow like me'd order that Western omelet. You're wrong. I like a Spanish omelet myself.
Always did. Speaking of Spanish omelets, here's a photo of her, my first wife, Dottie. She came with her own bottle of hot sauce, if you catch my drift. Yes, I'm talking about that tight Mexican hole.
You're slipping into an Ebenezer Scrooge voice or something.
I did just use the phrase tight Mexican hole, which I didn't feel great about.
I didn't feel great about it. Tried to lighten it up with the Ebenezer Scrooge bit.
I at that point, it seems like we're trying to avoid it, which maybe makes it worse. I was playing the character of Sam Elliott, who I assume is a casual racist. It's the way he walked across that lot.
I didn't find anything racist about what you said. I found it just extremely misogynistic. I didn't think it was racist.
No, I guess it was all of those things.
Pat, I saved a couple movies for this week because, as you know, I was flying back and forth between continents and countries last week.
Boy, were his arms tired.
And I saw quite a few films. I saw Dracula Untold, which I didn't bring up last
not Dead and
time.
Loving It.
It's as far as I could tell, there was no connection to Dead and Loving It, which I was upset about.
Who was it Untold? Is that Jason Statham?
No, it was.
Should have been.
It's the guy from. Well, the one guy in it is the guy from Last Action Hero.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Not Arnie, and not the kid, and not the old man that runs the theater. The guy with the smiley face eyeball, like the bad guy.
Okay. Rufus Sewell?
With like the red hair. He's also in Woody Allen's Scoop.
Scoop is Woody Allen's worst movie.
I couldn't disagree more. I love Scoop. I've got a.
You love Scoop?
I think it's a wonderful film.
Holy shit!
I find it incredibly funny.
Holy
shit! And I can show you worse. I mean, have you seen? Did you ever see Hollywood Ending, the movie where he's directing a movie? And
One of his worst, but not
blind?
his worst, which is Scoop.
You think Scoop is worse?
That's right. Are you talking about Michael Rappaport?
No, Pat. No, the bad guy
playing
from
Dracula. Can you imagine Michael Rappaport playing Dracula?
Well,
hey,
wait.
what to suck your blood?
This guy.
That's all I wanted. I wanted to suck your blood.
This guy doesn't play Dracula in it. He plays the guy that gives Dracula the vampire curse.
Okay.
The guy that plays Dracula. Oh, he was in. I remember now. He's in The Hobbit. He's in the second Hobbit.
Sean Bean?
Might be. He plays the archer that kills Smaug in the third movie.
I liked Smaug. I hated all those Hobbit movies, but for some reason I enjoyed Smaug.
I love Desolation of Smaug. It might be my favorite of all of the Lord of the Rings movies.
I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm not a big fan. Don't write me off as some fucking nerdo.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I didn't really care for the first three Lord of the Rings films. I found them very boring.
Excruciating.
Very repetitious.
Hey, here's an 8-hour version of them.
Yeah.
Watching some midgets walk from A to B.
And as you know,
little people. I'm sorry.
So Dracula. I got to give my mini review of this. Dracula Untold. Solid movie.
All right. Dominic Cooper.
Huh?
Dominic Cooper.
Yes, that's who it is.
Okay.
He played the archer in.
I mean, I couldn't have less interest in this thing.
I didn't have any interest in it, but I got on a plane. I saw it. Our old friend Ken Hanley from Fangoria.
Yes, love him.
He tweeted one night about, I don't know why I ever doubted this being a good movie. It's a good movie, and that made me think, okay, well, maybe I should see it. I'm on the plane. They got it there for free. I say I'm watching it. It's an enjoyable action horror movie.
All right.
That tells a cool origin story of Dracula, and I enjoyed it.
Remember how shitty American Werewolf in Paris was? Horrific.
Few sequels have dipped off harder than that one did from its predecessor.
Yeah.
As you know, I watched Jurassic Park 3.
I do.
On the plane, and this is a good time as any to tell our fans. Fans, we are going to be launching a Patreon site very soon. We're going to release special commentary episodes on the Patreon site. When we do that,
of 1 and 3,
the first 2 episodes will be Jurassic Park 1 and 3. Those will be the first special sort of donation. I don't know how Patreon works. You donate and you get
donate
shit
if you want to help out the boys and say thanks for the laughs, thanks for the memories.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting me through that particularly rough patch where I might have found solace in the bottle one too many nights. Maybe I hit my wife. Maybe I hit her again. You two were there for me, and here's $4.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. That's all we're saying.
It would be. And I know...
We do it for free.
I know it sounds like we're sitting high on the hog when I tell you we've made $125 each.
Which I still have not seen.
I mean, we got to be into the goddamn 60, 75th episodes of this thing by now.
Yeah, 100. We're the only people to have not monetized podcasting. And we do well, Although I will say, when Joe said he doesn't want to seem high in the hog, we are both sitting atop fat hogs at the moment.
Literal pigs.
Joe rented a couple of pigs. We've been jousting, I guess you could call it, for most of the night. The pigs are weary. We're all going to kind of sleep in a pile here after the pod. But it was a fun night.
I might fuck my pig.
I did.
Is that okay to say as a joke? Are bestiality jokes still okay?
I think they're always in fashion.
I remember I was on Sirius Radio. I can't remember the show, but I was on some Sirius Radio show, and I made a bestiality joke, and the host goes, just so everybody knows at home, we here at Sirius are sternly against bestiality.
Was your joke pro bestiality?
Yeah, it was an absurd, and I was like, thank you for clearing it up with the audience that Sirius, this major corporation, is in fact against bestiality. Who's sitting at home confused by that?
Yeah.
What world do we live in? It's a shit show. Anyway.
I saw the Pixies last week. It was a fantastic show.
It was.
And I told Joe the story about, I would say perhaps even worse than bestiality. Really kind of chilled me to the bone. There's this big fat dude in Philadelphia and his wife, and they get stuck in the elevator of their building. And neither of them have their cell phones on them. They looked like, pretty trashy folks. No offense. They're sitting there in the elevator, and when they find them, when the cops finally get the door open because they couldn't call out, it had been less than 72 hours, less than 3 days, and the man had murdered and eaten 11 pounds of his wife's body. 11 pounds of flesh in 3 days. I couldn't eat 11 pounds. You'd be sick to death.
It's literally the Mr. Show sketch where they find Bob Odenkirk in the plane crash and he's eaten everybody, and it's been like not even a week.
Yeah. If you look up this news story, it was insane. And they're like, you could tell he felt really bad about it, but like, we're obviously going to charge him with murder. But like, what an interesting case to be on.
So he got so hungry and scared, he just snapped, he murdered her. That was that.
And just started eating.
God damn.
And I assume didn't cook it or anything. He's eating just raw globs of flesh.
Well, how could he have cooked it?
He couldn't have.
He's in a dead elevator.
Ooh, a chilling tale. Only in Philadelphia, folks. Or perhaps also Florida. But hello, listeners involved.
Well, the only reason I brought up Jurassic 3 a minute ago was because I got on a Sam Neill tear when I was on the plane.
Yeah.
Watched a film called The Dish. Have you ever seen this film?
No.
Heartwarming romp.
Wait, no, I saw The Dish, like 99 or so?
Yeah, the lovable folks in Australia that ran the satellite dish down there during the first moon landing.
Saw it.
I enjoyed it very much. Very lighthearted.
Yeah.
Very playful. Your boy Patrick Warburton's in it.
My boy Patrick Warburton.
He's in it playing a NASA representative. It's odd to see that man go from putty to a NASA rep, but he played both very convincingly. And I'll tell you, I was in goddamn tears at the end of that thing when they showed all the moon landing footage, and I thought must be how people felt when this happened.
Yeah.
Last but not least, Band of Robbers. Can't recommend this movie highly enough.
Not familiar.
Band of Robbers, modern-day retelling of Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. It's a crime comedy. Starts with Huck Finn getting out of jail. Tom Sawyer is a cop. He's like, let's have one last ride. Let's get into some shit. I know where there's a treasure. And it's almost like what's the first Wes Anderson movie?
Bottle Rocket.
Bottle Rocket. It's very Bottle Rocket.
It's a new movie?
Yeah, it's probably 2 years old.
All right, I might check it out.
Our friends Hannibal Buress and Johnny Pemberton are in the film.
Sure.
That was a nice surprise. And it was a thoroughly enjoyable film and very, very funny.
I'm going to check this bitch out.
You should. Band of Robbers, folks. And with that, let's move into Joe's scary stuff.
Oh, sure.
Which I keep forgetting to do every week.
Back.
I'll make this real fast. There's a DVD company out there called Cinema Cult. They are an Australian-based company, but you can get their stuff on Amazon. Folks, I'm not trying to sell you on this thing because they don't sponsor us, but I can tell you, if you're looking for really, really brilliant restorations of really great cult films, go there, buy yourself some. I bought every copy of every movie I could find when I was in Australia because the prices were significantly lower. But they did a really wonderful restoration of Last Man on Earth, the Vincent Price version of I Am Legend. While I was in Australia, I picked up The Town That Dreaded Sundown. I picked up The Fury. I picked up The Beyond. I picked up Black Sunday. And I think one other one that I can't remember at the moment. But it's a really great company. They do nice work. Not heavy in the bonus features department, but that's okay. It's an affordable way to get a nice Blu-ray version of a classic cult film. Pat, I urge you to go check these guys out.
Yeah, I'll just slide on down to Australia and scoop it up.
Well, as I said, you can go on Amazon and get them.
Amazon.co.aus, something like that.
I got it on regular Amazon.
All right.
I don't need you sharpshooting me, Walsh. I'm just trying to do a segment
just asking
here.
a valid follow-up question is all I'm doing.
Hold on 1 second here. Just going to take a brief pause. Sorry about that, folks. As you can hear, I've got shit in my mouth. Not from the pig.
No.
I suddenly got a wave of low blood sugar, and I had to pause the podcast and go to the fridge and start shoving carrots into my mouth.
It's a real scene.
Yeah.
But we're all back online now.
So anyway, we saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 tonight.
Together. And a quick stop at the Cheesecake Factory prior.
Yes, for
a real
drink.
dream evening.
In fact, I don't mind saying this right now. This is one of the things we're going to offer on the Patreon. Let's give the people a little taste of what's to come. We're going to figure out merch and that kind of stuff. But one of the things Pat and I have discussed, we're not sure what the donation amount will be. But for a certain donation, a large donation, to be honest, you will get to meet Pat and I at the Cheesecake Factory.
Right. Our treat.
Our treat for a couple drinks.
Reasonable, within reason.
Yeah.
You know.
It's kind of your treat because you're going to donate a big sum of money.
Yeah.
And then we'll take you to see a movie next door at the Pacific Cinemas at the Americana here in sunny L.A.
But let me make this abundantly clear. This isn't like, hey, can you wrap up some Asian lettuce wraps to go? Because it's on these guys. You're getting one dinner and one alcoholic drink, perhaps two. Want to make that real clear.
Forget the dinner part. Let's just
drink.
We'll buy you a few drinks. We'll get a little loose, and we'll go to the movie.
Water, bread, they're complimentary. Feel free to fill up on both. We're not made of money.
Maybe an app.
Have an app. Keep it light. Who knows where the night could go?
I don't know.
You could wind up nude by the end of this thing. By your choice. It'll be just a real fun evening.
So anyway,
and you get to see the beautiful downtown Armenia Grove, the Americana.
Did you just say the downtown Armenia Grove?
It's the Armenian Grove. It's very like Armenian.
What?
The Americana. What
the
are we
Americana? Yes.
Yeah, it's in the center of Glendale. Little Armenia area.
Little Armenia is like Hollywood.
You know, Glendale is largely Armenian.
Is it?
Yes, you must know that.
I don't see color.
Armenian is not a color.
I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever seen an Armenian set foot on the soil of the Americana.
It's very heavily like Heather, my girlfriend, fiance, is pretty Armenian. So there's this movie out with Christian Bale about the Armenian genocide, and her and her family went, and of course they went to the Armenian Grove, which is the Americana, where it was hailed as like the biggest premiere in Hollywood history because it was I think the 100-year anniversary or something of the Armenian genocide. That number's probably wrong. It's definitely wrong. But
well, now I get why the sales girl at the Urban Outfitters screamed, "Our wounds are still open" at me. I didn't understand why she did that.
Yeah.
Let's get into
Really,
Guardians.
we're skirting the edge of good taste tonight. A little riff on the Armenian genocide. That's fine. It's late, as we said. Smash cut 2, them pulling the pilot out of my hands because I talked about the Armenian genocide. Folks, Guardians of the Galaxy was extremely entertaining. I like what Marvel does in terms of visuals. I think that they have to be, this and Doctor Strange in particular, it seems like they are making movies for people on drugs. And I appreciate that because I sometimes am. I just thought it looked great. It had its tongue in cheek, but also like had big swings of emotion that were kind of worked. It was corny. It was stupid at parts. But way more of the comedy attempts than normal were funny. Or at least you were like, I get why people are laughing. You know, they weren't bad puns and shit. They had some good sort of character comedy in it. I heard you laughing yourself, Joe.
I laughed a few times. I thought there were some funny moments.
Yeah.
I did not hate this movie as much as I thought I was going to. I actually enjoyed the first Guardians of the Galaxy quite a bit.
I did as well.
And I thought that I was going to hate this one because, as we all know, I've grown to really have a bad taste in my mouth about the Marvel Studios Marvel movies, much more so than the Sony Marvel movies.
Right.
But this movie, I felt, maintained a significantly larger amount of heart, honest heart, than any of the recent Avengers-related movies have. I think it's this movie was, to me, far better than the second Avengers movie. It was better than any of the solo movies that they've done since then. It was better than Civil War or any of that stuff.
And you didn't mind the joking.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
It had a great soundtrack as well. I like it. It's a nice time.
It also is supposed to be a funnier movie.
Correct.
So the joking didn't bother me that much. I will say this. They do it at the expense of the film's quality a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Now, this is going to be riddled with spoilers, everybody. So, you know, if you haven't seen the movie, well, Christ, you probably haven't. It just came out. But I'll try not to ruin major plot points here. But these are going to be spoilers in the sense of I'm going to talk about gags in the movie. There's one thing they do repeatedly with this, you know, villain guy who's this hideous, like, mutant alien, and his name is Taserface, and they keep doing this gag where he tells somebody his name, and then they start laughing at him, and you're like, this is absurd. You're ruining. Like, I'm not taking the villain seriously anymore.
Right.
Like, and so the point I'm getting at, and I get that that's the point and that's the joke and everything, but what I'm getting at is when you take the ass out of everything like that, there then becomes no real tension or fear for the characters themselves.
True.
So I
didn't give a shit about anybody in it. Chris Pratt had seemingly no dialogue. Like, he made no impression. He talked to his dad a few times, but other than that, it was like they're focusing on these animals and trees is who gets a lot of the material.
I will say this. I found Baby Groot devastatingly adorable.
Did you? See, I thought you would hate that too. It was real cute.
I was having a hard time coming to terms with how cute I found it. It made me think of my dog the whole time.
It bordered on sexual at one point.
I got home tonight and I walked right up to my dog and I said to my dog, the movie I saw tonight reminded me of you and I missed you and I love you so much, buddy.
Whoa.
And I picked him up and I hugged him and I kissed him.
Oh, well, isn't that adorable?
It was. Here's another gripe that I had with the film. Again, I didn't hate the movie, but I don't like
some gripes.
I don't like when people do things at the look. One of the lessons I learned early on when the first script I ever wrote, and I believe it was the great Dave Koechner, who gave this advice to one Bill Burr, who then passed it to me. He said, "Look." Because we made a short film called Cheat, Bill and Bobby Kelly and myself, and David Koechner, Bill showed it to him, and David Koechner said it was good, and he said, listen, you could tighten it up. And Bill said, how do you mean? And David Koechner said, look, you can joke anything to death, but you need to cut out the stuff that doesn't need to be in there. And again, there's a lot of stuff in the movie where I'm like, everything doesn't have to be a swing for a gag. I don't need to see the sentient, or not the sentient, the sovereign being who are supposed to be this like regal perfection race that were engineered perfectly and everything, saying lines like, you suck, man, and don't screw with the sovereign. It's fucking stupid. It ruins the characters. It's just too much. It's just too much. I don't know if kitsch is the right word or whatever. Why are multiple characters in the film said go to hell?
Yeah.
Well, how do they even have a concept of hell? Where is that coming from? Why are people saying I got to take a whiz?
Joe, why wouldn't they?
What do you mean?
It's not like it's a Revolutionary War period piece. Why can't they say these things?
This is American slang. It's not even Earth slang. It's American slang. It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
so you want them to talk like people on Mars do?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying you're already having me suspend disbelief that everybody in the galaxy speaks perfect English. Nobody ever speaks another language.
You want them speaking fucking Naboo like in old Avatar? You want subtitles?
Yeah. But I can't have that. Listen, I'm saying I will go with you on this. Nobody's got an accent. Everybody just speaks regular English. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah, no, that is fine. That is completely fine.
But here's the
everybody in this action movie speaks English.
Well, they're from multiple planets across the galaxy. It wouldn't be the way it is. But listen.
It wouldn't be the way it is, folks. I wasn't aware you'd had intimate contact with aliens from other planets.
They'd have a different language. They'd communicate
What if they don't?
All right, fine. I'll accept that.
Starman didn't.
I'll accept that.
That was a documentary.
But how about instead of what's the big guy's name? Who's Dave Bautista? Pax? Gaz? What the fuck's his name in it?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Josh Gad?
His name is Josh Gad, yeah.
How about instead of having him saying, she's disgusting, which is a 12-year-old slang word from America, have him say revolting. Just make it a little believable. This guy
Joe, this is one of your most insane lines of thought that you have ever said,
insane.
Either on or off of this show.
It's not insane.
It is insane. Have him say revolting instead of disgusting because that's what an alien would say. What you're saying is what an insane person would say.
You don't think it would ruin... Let me just ask you this. If you were watching Star Wars, okay?
Sure.
New Star Wars comes out.
Looks great. Saw a trailer tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. New Star Wars comes out. There's a scene where Luke is training Rey, and he goes, hey, don't go in that cave. It's gross. You don't think
it's a whole different franchise. Made at a different time. Like... And they might say gross. I don't know.
They would not say gross. It would be absurd. I'm saying...
But that is the world of Star Wars, which is not the same world as Guardians of the Galaxy
Fair
Volume
enough.
2.
But here's
We're also listening to pop hits.
Here's my point. You could still make the joke without having to go for the kitsch factor. It doesn't... I don't need the green alien or the blue alien to say gross. He could say a more believable word, and I would go, that's still funny. Do you see what I'm saying?
No. Oh, and just to be real clear, no, I don't.
You thought it was fine when
Yes.
the last ship got blown up and one of the sovereigns goes, "You suck, Zarnak." It's terrible.
The whole movie was like that. The whole movie is anachronistic and slang and dancing and music.
Did you mind that the Sovereign, like when they had those remote controlled spaceships, that the control portals or whatever the fuck you want to call them that they were controlling the ships from made fucking like Pac-Man noises and shit?
Pac-Man came at him at that one point.
No. Like I'm talking about. Remember the gold people? They could control their ships remotely, and it made like arcade video game noises. Did that bother you?
It did not.
God damn it!
Because that's what the movie is. That's what the whole tone of the movie is.
So the whole tone of
It doesn't fuck up any tone they have because it's completely in line with everything else. It's something you liked less than the other stuff. It doesn't make it any less valid.
But here's the thing: it's not the tone of the Marvel universe. Hold on.
These movies all have their own feel, which is why I prefer them to your DC shit, which all has the feel of being drowned in a lake.
Don't bring it up if you don't want me to go down that road.
Don't go down.
Here's the thing. This is going to cross into the Avengers movies.
Yeah, I know.
So
I thought the new Thor looked sweet.
It looks pretty good.
I like that they're not all so fucking serious.
It's
I
fine.
like that.
It doesn't have to be all so serious. But if you want me to believe that Thor comes from a planet where Anthony Hopkins, this regal, it's like, come on, like.
Well, he's
I don't
regal.
believe that in Guardians of the
Everyone
Galaxy,
in the future is regal.
everybody talks like a Valley Girl in Guardians of the Galaxy. You're just like, okay, every alien,
Yes.
stupid.
Well, they do all have different voices. That's stupid, but yeah, that's the style of the movie.
Some fucking rock creature from the planet Nebulac or whatever knows the word dude. It's absurd.
He could have learned it from the fucking Star-Lord. You don't think the Star-Lord says dude and he doesn't pick up on it?
Get the hell out of here.
It's true. That's how people pick up things.
A
bizarre thing to focus on or think about at all. I thought the movie surely had flaws, and then you're just like, hey, let me just make up something.
No, that bothers me.
All right.
It's bad writing. It's the Marvel thing. Every character's written the same. That bothers me I've said it many times. Any line that any character in this movie said tonight, you could have changed it with another character. Not one character was written differently. Even when Kurt Russell, who's, spoiler alert, who's part God, who's literally part God, or is a God. He says he's a God. Even his character, when he got angry, he goes, I suggest you stop pissing me off. And it's like, can one person speak differently? Does anybody have a better education than anybody else in this film?
Okay.
It's stupid. Now let's get into this Kurt Russell thing. I thought he absolutely stunk in the movie.
It wasn't his best performance. He seemed a little confused. But he was certainly better than Mr. Sylvester Stallone.
That was. I don't even think Stallone knew his lines. Looked like he was remembering them as he was saying them.
I thought that perhaps in tone with the movie being pretty campy, that he was I'm trying to tell myself that he was directed to give like a bad, cheesy Stallone performance. But that's not the case. Stallone was embarrassing in this movie. In a way he hasn't really been since like the old, over-the-top Rhinestone days. He was really bad.
You can't put everybody in every part. Stallone and Kurt Russell were miscast severely in this film.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell was not coming off good because you don't buy Kurt Russell as a god. No. Kurt Russell looks like he was in Overboard, for Christ's sakes. That's
which they're remaking.
Yeah, but that's who Kurt Russell is. Yeah. He's the guy that fixes your car, shoots his way out of the
in the case of Overboard.
Yeah, shoots his way out of the crazy. He's Star-Lord. Make him
Captain Ron.
He's Captain Ron.
Come on.
Don't make him a god. Give me a break.
He's John Q. Backdraft, which I felt was a little on the nose character name.
Stallone. Can be a great actor.
Copland. Rocky.
We all, look, let's just say it. We're all thinking it. Let's just say it. Stallone's great in a part where the guy's not too sharp.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You got to put him in. They got him
punchy.
in this thing as the leader of the Ravager. He's supposed to be leading this entire...
Very sharp and intelligent man.
And then he's yelling at one point about that you've broken the code. I can't even believe Stallone could remember what the code was.
You've broken the code. Very poor acting. I did not see Miley Cyrus. David Hasselhoff's bit was pretty funny.
I thought the David Hasselhoff cameo was funny.
Who was Miley Cyrus? An alien?
I don't know. Her voice was in it or something somewhere. I did not. One more actor in this I didn't care for. I can't remember her name, but the girl from Doctor Who plays the
Karen
blue
Gillan.
Nebula or whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling her. I felt like...
I thought it was Rachel Lee Cook, the star of She's All That. I really did. Until we looked her up at the end. I was glad to see her again. I love Rachel Lee Cook. Josie and the Pussycats, underrated comedy.
Where's she been?
She was just she was the original person in the "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" commercial when she was a little girl. So she just did it
With
again.
the eggs?
Yeah. So she just did an update of it where I was like, "This is your brain on drugs," but the twist on it was, and these simple marijuana charges is why we have tons of African Americans in prison. That's the gist. So she's using moderate fame for political gain. She auditioned for my show, and she had a good audition. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that. I'm fine.
This Is Your Brain on Drugs. The one I remember is the close-up of the frying pan and the eggs and the man voiceover.
Well, I guess they did one at some point with her as a young girl, and she updated it.
Who the hell wants to hear about drugs from a young kid? What the fuck's a kid now? You don't know shit. You haven't experienced the pain that makes you need the drugs.
Yeah.
You little shit.
Dare. Remember Dare?
Yeah.
Keep kids off drugs.
Was Dare drugs or was Dare...
Drugs. It was drugs.
Oh, Mad, I'm thinking of Moms Against Drunk Driving.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving, yeah. And hey, they got a point. Stupid.
Sure. Why's it got to be moms against it? Why can't we all be against it?
We're all against it. Where are the dads? Speak loud, Dad. Speak proud and loud.
This sounds like a Seinfeld bit. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Are there mothers for drunk driving? I think pretty much every mom is against drunk driving.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the...
Don't get me started on the fathers against drunk driving. Where are these men? Why aren't they backing up that wife? I'll tell you, these mothers who are mad at drunk driving should be mad at their husbands. We should call it MAH. Hey, you want to go down to march today? MAH.
I was watching Seinfeld today, and the opening stand-up thing was about how they sent monkeys into space before anybody else.
Yeah.
It leveled me. It
Yeah.
leveled me. This is clearly the next step for the monkey.
He's a funny man. I've seen him do stand-up live a couple times. It was a real treat both times.
One other thing I wanted to talk about with this, again, overall, I like the movie. It had me by the end. Overall, I enjoyed it. I felt for the characters by the end. I did like the film. And much to my chagrin, I didn't want to like it. I wanted to hate it so I can come on here and make fun of it. And
I saw you doing a lot of typing on your phone, so I thought you were going to hate it and have a lot to make fun of.
Most of it was the language issues that I had with it.
Sure.
I wasn't thrilled that they just kind of jacked the asteroid scene from Empire Strikes Back. I thought that was kind of weak. But whatever. Also, why can Gamora pick up like a 2-ton gun? Remember that part?
Who's Gamora?
The green lady.
Oh. I mean, it seemed normal.
Does she have super strength?
I think got better than average strength. She's a mutant.
Is she?
I don't know. She's a ghost.
I don't know. Well, all right. Well, I was just curious about that. Last but not least, there was a lady sitting next to you in this thing. I mean, that was like a DVD commentary through the goddamn movie.
Her seat was drenched by the end of this fucking thing. She was like, oh, like, I mean, Groot, every time he came on, was like, oh, he's so adorable.
Yeah.
Which I learned Joe was saying as well, but he kept it to himself.
I kept it to myself like a decent dignified citizen in this fucking society we have to live in.
I mean, just laughing at every joke, a lot of awe. It was like some being in the Full House audience and sitting right next to me.
I will say this overall, that lady's enthusiasm, the enthusiasm of the folks around us, the applause at the end of the film, that was what got me the most. I thought people really like this film. It made a lot of people happy.
Yeah.
There are people where this is their Star Wars. I know how Star Wars makes me feel. And overall, Pat, I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
Me too. It was fun. I did kind of doze off here and there. It's too long. They're all too long. But,
they're all too long.
I owed $10 on the way out. I had a 4-hour validation.
I owed 11.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, you know, folks, it was an entertaining film. If you like the first one, you're going to like the second. That's all I can say. I preferred the first.
I think the story of the second one is better than the story of the first one.
Okay. All right.
The story of the first one is...
I didn't like all the prison stuff in the first one, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was kind of boring. And then the story of the first one is just the Infinity Stone bullshit, where it's like, enough with these goddamn fucking Infinity Stones every movie. This was him finding his dad and the twists and turns of all that. And I thought the story in this was way cooler.
All right.
This certainly was their Empire Strikes Back, I think.
Yeah. I liked it. I also, I thought the trailer for Dunkirk looked awesome.
It did look pretty insane.
Like we haven't had a movie like that in a long time.
Well, we just probably had one. I mean, it's a World War II movie. When's the last World War II movie?
It's been a long time.
How long?
I don't know, but not since like there's a big one like that came out.
I don't want you to get mad at me about it.
Well, I want you to know your stuff a little better, I guess.
The Dunkirk, I'm a little disappointed that it's only a PG-13.
Sure.
Because, you know.
But you can push it in those, if it's a period piece about a real war, they don't care. Blow somebody's head off.
Nothing's ever going to equal that opening Saving Private Ryan sequence.
Of course not.
Jesus Christ almighty.
Rough stuff.
Yeah, really rough.
Rough stuff.
Really rough. Well, Pat, I think we've come to an end here. You look like you're about to fall asleep.
I mean, I almost did in the movie. I'm tired. Folks, I am on Twitter and Instagram at the Patrick Walsh. Something I forgot to plug last week, but I urge you to check out, is that I was a contributing writer to the White House Correspondents' Dinner this year, hosted by Hassan Minhaj. I sent a bunch of jokes in, and I got a bunch of jokes, and it was very cool. And I urge you to watch it, not just because I have a couple jokes in it, a few jokes, but because I think it's an important piece of entertainment. It's Hassan Minhaj talking about, you know, how bad things are in our country, how bad things are with the press, how bad it is for immigrants and the people that he's trying to throw out of our country, etc. It's a good 20-minute chunk of comedy, and it has something to say. I urge you to check it out.
Yeah, he did an outstanding job, and it was a nice piece of work. Congrats on that for being a part of it.
Thank you.
Fuck Trump for not even showing up. I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking pathetic.
For Christ's sakes.
The last president to not show up was Ronald Reagan in '81, and it was because he was recovering from an assassination attempt. That is true. Yeah, and he sent in a video of remarks from his hospital bed.
Like comedic remarks from the bed?
Well, I'm not doing too good.
I mean, that's what you mean. Say what you want about Reagan. I wasn't a fan of his policies or his viewpoints.
No, or his acting.
You do something like that, you like the guy a little bit.
I agree.
You know? Did you see,
it shows you got a little...
W. Bush on Kimmel? Again, I was never a fan of the guy.
No.
Goes on Kimmel, he's fucking killing.
Oh, boy.
He's killing.
I don't think I want to see that.
Did
you see Trump brush the guy off when he was trying to talk to the guy from 60 Minutes about he was asking him about the wiretapping. So then Trump was like, well, you know, the big story, what we should be focusing on is the whole thing with wiretapping. And everybody knows there's wiretapping. And the guy was like, Mr. Trump, that's been completely disproven. He goes, well, many people are saying it. So, and he goes, right, but it's been completely disproven. Well, I'm hearing it a lot. Seems to me that what's happening is wiretapping, and we got to go after the real enemy. And he goes, like, are you really saying? He goes, you called this man crazy and sad and on and on. Do you feel that way? And he's like, I think we're done. I think we're done. I've answered your question.
Jesus Christ.
Strong arms the guy out of the Oval Office. He walks over to his desk to get away from him. It's the president talking to a guy from CBS, and he has a complete meltdown being asked a simple question to where he has to walk away from the interview.
I got to tell you, I can't peek my head out of the hole anymore these days.
It keeps me at just a always permanent simmer of anxiety, in addition to everything else. But I don't know how much time we got left, and I don't know if I give a fuck.
We got time. We got time. I don't think anything like that drastic will happen. I really don't. And I know a lot of people would disagree with that, but I just
I mean, he is taunting our enemies.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, you don't like to see that. I don't care for that.
No.
Well, anyway, folks.
Also, I'm sure he thinks if they blow up America, then he doesn't have to do this fucking job anymore, because clearly he can't stand it.
He doesn't seem to be enjoying it, right?
No, not
He's like
at
a
all.
dad at work, he's aggravated.
He said the other day, I didn't know it would be this hard. He was like, I liked my old life very much, and this is a lot more challenging than my old life. I miss it at times.
What did he think it was going to be?
I don't know.
It's a shit job.
Yeah.
It's not a fun job for anybody. I feel like it's like you do it like it's like becoming a war hero or something. Like when you look back on it, you're like, I'm proud of myself. But when it's happening, it's hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
I feel like it's like when you get like a writing job or something, or whatever job, and you realize like day 3 it's going to be like you're there till 11 p.m. every night. And then he's like, fuck. Why did I take this?
Yeah.
Except in this case, he's running our nation.
Well, I like to say he's running it into the ground.
Whoa.
And I believe I am the first person to do that play on words.
I think probably so.
So I'll send you off on that gem of a joke.
Do you have a plug, Joe?
Do I? It's a great question. No, not really. Right. I have some stuff coming out soon. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce it yet or not. So coming soon, there will be some things. As far as live dates, Clusterfest in San Francisco in early June. I will be performing at that on the 3rd and 4th of June, amongst many other fantastic acts, including one Jerry Seinfeld and another Mr. Ice Cube.
Good also.
So very excited about that. And I've got the other podcast on the other network, which is Feral with my buddy Kurt Braunohler, called Emotional Hangs. Go check that out. It's a completely different thing.
And is it true that Ice Cube will be doing haircuts at the festival in his barbershop character?
I heard that he will be, in fact, doing that, and then all press he does, he'll be in character.
Great. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, folks, I'll tell you on Facebook what our next movie will be. We haven't decided yet. I do notice several of you being like, where's the new episode? It's already up. We've already put up Prisoners. Go give it a listen. Sometimes you got to hit a refresh. You know what I mean?
And again,
I don't got to hold your hand every step of the goddamn way.
No, it wasn't showing up on the app for people for some reason. Guys, right. We're trying to figure all these.
I'm sorry I snapped at you. I didn't realize
ins and outs. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but we're figuring it all out. But again, the Patreon's coming soon. We will settle this Jurassic Park debate by watching the films. And I thank all of you, by the way, for the just venomous lashing that I've received.
Nobody agreed with you.
On Twitter. A couple people did.
Well, it'll probably turn into a roast of we'll do a commentary for 1 and 3, and each will probably wind up roasting / defending each other's choice.
Anyway, all right, that's the show.
That was a HeadGum podcast.